evening, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome each one of you to this insightful webinar on the National Curriculum Framework. It's exciting to see such an enthusiastic gathering of educationists, policymakers, and other stakeholders, all keen to engage in this important discourse. As we all know, the National Curriculum Framework is more than just a policy document. It's a visionary roadmap guiding the future of education in our country. It shaped not only the curriculum, but also how we approach teaching and learning in our school, aiming to create system that is inclusive, forward-looking, and aligned that the needs of our rapidly changing world. Today's webinar is a platform for us to delve deeper into principles, goals, and strategies online in the NCF. We will be exploring its key component, discussing the implications, and reflecting on how we can collectively contribute it to successfully implementation. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Mrs. Anita, who have graciously agreed to share their expertise, sorry, insight with us today, and our moderator, Mrs. Simpy Raheja, she is having 17-year experience in education field. Now she is working in Sevag International School. Over to Ms. Simpy. Simpy ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Good evening,
please.
ma'am. Good evening, everyone. So this is Raheja. I'm work as a moderator, and I welcome you all on the behalf of education and learning. So with us to share the insights on National Curricular Framework, as Pinky has already shared. So we have as a speaker Miss Anita Pannu Dalal, who is a passionate and multifaceted educator and has been serving the education sector for more than 2 decades at varied capacities. In her education journey, she was completed her certified course in school management and leadership from Harvard University, international career coach certified by Career Development Alliance USA, PG diploma in human rights, IIHI Delhi, MA in English, political science and economics. With that, she did B.Ed, HTET, CSB, CTET cleared in first attempt. Certified financial advisor, author, All Indian Educators Forum, master trainer, founder, director, Scale Up Academy. From being a thoughtful leader, author, trainer, and career counselor. With that, she is a motivational speaker and panelist at various forums to a recipient of many prestigious awards. She bagged International Excellent Educator Award. With that, she also bagged Shiksha Ratan Samman Award and Leadership Award. She has aced it all. She utilizes these academic developments in imparting pivotal sessions to the building youth of the country. Her philosophy is to be resourceful to teachers and students as to make their ambitions convert to reality while inculcating values and life skills to help them, dreaming and being capable of fulfilling their dreams into reality through a desire to learn as a responsible global citizen. So welcome, ma'am. Now over to you.
Welcome, Anita ma'am. Thank you, Shibi ma'am. Welcome all the educators. Yeah, Anita ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, and sorry for this inconvenience. Thank you so much, first of all, Dr. Vimal and Simpy ma'am for such a wonderful introduction. And yes, as we all have gathered here today for this webinar on NCF, so allow me to share my PPT
Yes,
with you.
Yes, ma'am. Share, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible. You can give a full screen, ma'am, and maybe.
Yeah, it's full screen now.
Exactly.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah. So, all my lovely educators here, as we all know that National Curriculum Framework for school education is one prominent area where we all educators feel that this is something which is very, very futuristic, where we feel that it must take our education sector beyond the limits, and which the prominent leaders who have framed it, they were having a lot of things in their mind, keeping all the things in the mind from where we have started our journey and where we have to reach. So it is something which is started with the new education policy in 2020. This is how it has, they have the idea in their mind. First, the education policy in 2020, it has come up after a good 34 years. So it was a long time. We have seen the changes and very drastic changes in every sectors apart than education. Education is one area or one field on which all the occupations, all the professions are dependent, because one teacher makes all the professions to be alive, to be imagined, to be seen by the students. And that was the one area which was not at all being taken care by the policy makers, and it took around 34 years to bring the new education policy. So finally, we got this in 2020. So after giving the new education policy, how it has to be implemented. These are two things, separate things, NEP and NCF. Two different things. At times, even the educators, they also get confused that what is the difference, or why NEP and NCF is being differently. So this also we will understand in this webinar later. So first let us understand how it has been started and what was there in the policy makers' mind. First was the new education policy. They have implemented in 2020 in the midst of Corona. The entire country was quiet. The entire country was having the fear in their mind with COVID, but this was the time when it was introduced. Then the curriculum framework. You can see in the picture, the children, they are doing certain activities in the picture. The teacher is also standing behind them, and the children are having happy faces and lots of creativity. So this was curriculum. The third comes the syllabus, how this would work and how it can lead to all the objectives of national education policy. So the syllabus, the textbooks, and other supportive material. Three things. Then the fourth column was the capacity building programs. The leaders, the educationists, they have framed national education policy. But how it should be implemented? Each and every teacher, maybe they are in the metro cities or they are at very interior places. The teacher who is teaching in the very small village with handful of students, they might be sitting in a very, not in a very good infrastructure. They are also implementing NEP, and the teachers, those who are sitting in a very privileged infrastructure in AC classrooms, they also have to implement national policy, national education policy. So how it should be implemented? Because the teachers, those who are at the interior areas, they might not have all those facilities and resources to understand it. and to make themselves to bring up to that level where or what the demand of new education policy. So for that reason, the capacity building programs have been implemented or have been started. As we all know that now it is compulsory for every teacher, whether it is a primary teacher, a pre-primary teacher, or PGT level teacher, or the vice principal, or the principal, they all have to undergo to how many number of hours training? Who will give the reply?
50 hours, ma'am.
Yes, Meena ma'am. I was actually looking for others' answers also to let me see that how many of us are attentive also. You know, being a teacher, it is every teacher's duty also that to understand that my students, are they listening me also properly? Are they active and attentive also or not? So the same thing we will also be doing in this. In certain intervals, I would be asking you some questions, and I believe that all of you would reply me also. Yes, Meena ma'am, so you were absolutely right. It was 50 hours training, 25 offline and 25 hours online training. So this is how the teacher can get herself resourced to implement all the new education policy requirements. And then the last leg comes the transformation at the school level. So whatever is understood by the teacher, whatever is gained by the teacher through all these things, through the NCF, through the other resources, and through the capacity building programs, after then what the teacher is delivering in the classroom, how the teacher is delivering it in the classroom, and the different ways, and by all these means, how the teacher can transform the students' lives. What changes, positive changes, how they can bring all these things. That comes the last stage, that is transformation at the school level. So let us understand how it has been started. It was K. Kasturi Ranjan. He was the leader of this 12-person steering committee for National Curriculum Framework, which was given on 29th July 2023. And read the these were all the ministers, including our Union Education Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, who has released this mandate, which we call the NCF, National Curriculum Framework. And all these are the leaders, those who were present in ISC Bangalore, where they have showed this draft, and this was the beginning of NCF. I would like any of the educator from here who can read the words of Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, which he has delivered on that occasion.
Union Education Minister.
Any of the educators.
Yeah, Union Education Minister Sri Dharmendra Pradhan said that the National Education Policy 2020 is the philosophy, National Curriculum Framework is the pathway, and the mandate document released today is the Constitution to champion the changing demands of the 21st century and positively impact the future. He further said that the mandate document will bring about a paradigm shift with focus on holistic development of children, emphasis on skilling, vital role of teachers, learning in mother tongue, cultural rootedness. It is also a step towards decolonization of the Indian education system.
Yes. So thank you so much, Meena ma'am. So these were the words which tells that NCF is having a very, very larger picture, very broad picture, because it promotes critical thinking, it promotes creativity, it promotes problem solving skills, it enables the student to foster values of peace, justice, and equality. It develops a sense of national identity and citizenship. It encourages the lifelong learning, and it also focuses on as well. So this is why he has given a word constitution to champion the change in 21st century. So this is a constitution on which our entire NEP 2020 is focused, and through which the teacher can bring the whole all around development, the holistic development for the students. And this is how this has been started, and the guidelines, and it was completely on the guidelines of NEP 2020. So here the point comes, the difference between NEP and NCF. NEP, what is NEP? What is NCF? So NEP is something which is at the broader concept, which we can say, which was the vision of educators, the prominent leaders, and this is what they wanted. It is a comprehensive policy document where they wanted the certain things right from the early childhood, that which we call the pre-primary or the early years of education, till the higher years, till the including the vocational skills as well. On the other side, NCF. NCF is the curriculum. In very simpler words, we can say that the NEP is the suggestion given by the new education policy, that these are the suggestions which we want that our education sector should be like. And
So,
the NCF
sorry to
is
interrupt, ma'am, your voice is breaking. Sorry, ma'am, your voice is breaking, ma'am.
I think network issues there. Yes, ma'am.
Maybe, ma'am, because here it is raining outside.
Okay, right. Please, ma'am, continue. Please, ma'am.
It is raining outside, actually. Maybe that is the reason.
Okay, ma'am. Carry on, ma'am.
Is it okay now, ma'am, or shall I reconnect?
No. Okay, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So the NEP is the suggestions which are given in the new education policy, that these are the suggestions which should be done to achieve the objectives, and the NCF is all the implementation. By implementing these and these things, we can achieve this. So NEP, suggestion, and NCF, implementation. I think I'm clear here in these two terms, NEP and NCF. Thank you so much, Meena ma'am, for responding so well. Yeah, so let us understand the history of NCF also. NCF is of 4 types. One is for school education, which we call NCF SE. It has started firstly in 1975, then next was in 1988, then in 2000, then 2005, and now in 2023. Second is NCF ECCE, which is particularly for early childhood care and education. It came in 2014 by the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and then it came now in 2022. The third is teacher education, because when we look for any change in the education sector, if we look for any change for our students, if we look for any change in our education system, we cannot ignore the teachers. We cannot ignore their education, their qualification. So for that, the first NCFTE was introduced in 1988, which was developed by NCERT. Then in 1998, it was developed by NCTE. Next, it came in 2009. And for 2020 new education policy, the national curriculum framework is still to come for teachers' education. It is yet to come. And the same thing with adult education. For adult education also, which we call NCFAE in brief, that is also have not come yet. And it is also the very first time when it will be introduced in the history of education sector in India. So now let us understand, when we say the students are the prime focus, the child-centric education, and the government is also focusing on the very early childhood. But it could be implemented in all ages of the students. The first thing which is very, very important to understand the different ways, the different layers, which is known by the Panchkosha Vikas, five-fold development. Most of the things you will understand and you will realize that these are taken from the Indian culture. The reason behind is that the government or the new education policy wanted to amalgamate the Western education system and the Indian education system also, to pick the best out of all these and to bring them, to mix them, to get the things which are beneficial for our students and how we can implement them. So these Panchakosha are the 5 layers. And which are those 5 layers? The first one is Anamya Kosha. Anamya Kosha means the physical appearance. This is very obvious. The first thing is our physical body. That is our first identity as a human. So to make it healthy is also every individual's duty. Nowadays, we can see that the children, and particularly after COVID, we find that the students, whatever the age is, rather than going outside, rather than physical sports, they are more inclined towards the maybe online gaming, or maybe they try to sit at home rather than going outside, which is not at all good for physical fitness. So that is why the very first thing, the first layer, the physical appearance, there the teacher has to take a lot of care. And this also has to be included in the school, in the teaching as well. The second thing is pranayama kosha, where the body and the soul, the mind, they are interconnected. So here, because it is very, these things are very interconnected, and if the body is good, the body is happy, if the body is fit, the body is not having any illness or disease, then it is very much obvious that the mind, the brain, the soul should also be happy and very, very delighted. So if we are feeling happy inside and outside, outside by our physical fitness, inside by our inner soul, if we are feeling happy, we are ready to understand, we are ready to accept, we are ready to be open for the new openings, for the new changes, for the new ways which can be adopted. So so these 2 things, and then the third thing comes that is Manomaya Kosh. So Manomaya Kosh is again where we can control our thoughts and emotions. Very, very important thing. Most of the time the teachers have witnessed, they find that the students are sitting in the classroom, teacher are delivering their lectures at their best, but still after certain passage of time, if the teacher asks the questions, the children are not able to reply. Why it is so? Because the child is physically present in the classroom, but mentally the child is out of the classroom. The child is somewhere else in his or her own world. So these things, to connect these things, how to focus, how to have a good control on our thoughts, that is the third thing, Manomaya. To make the student understand how we can control on our inner self, how we can have a good control on our emotions, whether it is a happy emotion, whether it is a sadness, how to deal, and then again get back into the balanced situation. Next comes the fourth point, that is Vijnanamaya Kosh. This is connected to a deeper level of intuition and wisdom. In yoga, meditation, and meditative asanas affect this kosha. So again here, as we say, when the child is having a good intuition that yes, I have understood this, the child will feel contented, and that contentment could be reflected by his or her deeds, by his or her thoughts, and his or her conversations. If a child is good and happy and contented, the child will reflect and share the happiness. The child will understand the teacher, the child will be in discipline, the child will be in a proper manner, and the child will not do some harmful thing with the peer group. So next is Anandamaya Kosh, where the child feels love and joy, where if the child is happy, contented, the child is open for learning, the child behaves properly, and in that way, the other child will also reply in a better manner. So this is how the positive environment is being created in the classroom. That it goes hand in hand. It is implemented on the teacher also. Teacher is the role model in the classroom. And if the teacher says that, okay, children, sit down, do 1 minute meditation. And that time, if the teacher is talking with some other teacher, maybe, so it gives a wrong message to the child. The child would not understand because there is a difference in action and the speech. So if the teacher says, okay, I will also sit quiet, you also sit quiet, then the students can understand that yes, my teacher is also sitting quietly, let me also sit quiet. So this is how the environment could be created in the classroom. And all these 5 layers are interconnected. We cannot separate one fold to another. This is how the circle of the body, the different layers, they get connected in the for bringing the best out of the child. So this is one thing which the NEP and NCF focuses a lot. I hope I'm clear till here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much. So the next is the Panchadi. This is again 5-step learning process. In the previous, we have understood the 5 folds, that how these things have to be. Here we will be learning that what are those 5 steps learning process, how we have to start and how we have to reach to the last objective. our learning objective. So the first is the introduction, which is also called Aditi, where the introduction is to be given to the classroom, to the students, by understanding their previous knowledge, what they were having in their mind till now, and from there it has to be started. Second point is the bodh, or the conceptual understanding. In this stage, whatever the teacher wants to teach them, the teacher has to take the different ways. It may be playway method, it may be inquiry based method, it may be experimental method, it may be discussion method, it may be debate, it may be is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah. So dear educators, we were discussing about the 5-step learning process, Panchadi. So first one which we have discussed, it was the Aditi, the introduction, where the teacher first gives the introduction of the new topic, and where he tries to connect the child from the previous knowledge. So while connecting with the previous knowledge, the teacher understands till where the child understands about this topic, and from where the teacher has to start. Second comes the bodh, the conceptual understanding. So here the NCF suggests that rather than the rote learning, rather than the lecture method which we were having before NEP, the most of the time should be utilized by giving them the certain ways of learning, where the child can see, touch, and do by their hands. So all such kind of activities should be done, should be given. Maybe it is through playway method, maybe through inquiry based method, maybe through different experiential learning, maybe discussions, debate, group discussions, by speech, by understanding, by field visit, or maybe by some trips, educational trips. So the basic agenda for conceptual understanding is, rather than simply giving them your words, give them certain things by which the child can see, touch, and do. When they do by their hands, they learn more. It get retained in their mind for a longer period. Third comes the practice. Once the child is introduced the new topic, then the different ways are given through which the child can learn well. And then the third thing comes the practice. So how the practice could be done? When the teacher engage the child in different activities. When the child is doing a lot of activities, the child practice it lot and lot more. Maybe it could be once let us take an example in the classroom. If a child have understood, or maybe a group of students have understood what the teacher wanted to explain, and by the activity they are very sharp minded, they have learnt it. So now the teacher has to teach all the students. There the teacher can utilize those students as a resource, and she can ask the students to come. Okay, if let us take an example of mathematics classroom. The children, the teacher has introduced a new concept. Now 5 students have understood, but rest of the 35 students, they were having still confusion in their mind. So the teacher can call those 5 students on the board, and she can ask them that, okay, now you solve the question. Any question can be given, any sum can be given to them. Okay, you solve it now. 2 steps you solve, then the next child, then the next child, and in that way she involves all the 5 students also. And the students, those who have understood it well, it is a practice for them, and for the others, students, it was again one more time revision, and by that they would also understand. And when the children see that the teacher is calling some students for doing these sums on the board, they will also try next time. You know, there would be a healthy competition in the classroom. So this is how the practice could be given to the students. Then comes the application, where the child is supposed to apply. As many of us say that, okay, we have learned gamma, theta, all these terms, sine theta, cos theta, but it is nowhere in our daily lives. So it was a useless thing. But now the NEP and NCF suggest that whatever the concept is taught to the students, they should be brought in the child's everyday lives also. They should be interconnected. The child should bring all the examples from the daily lives where it should be implemented. And that is the main reason that NCF focuses on the multidisciplinary understanding, multidisciplinary resources, where we have to connect one subject to another subject. If the English teacher is teaching the English language, there is one chapter about money. If the teacher is teaching that, there she is teaching math sum also, plus and minus. Okay, I was having 100 rupees and the child went to purchase some mangoes, and there the child paid 20 rupees. Rest, how many rupees are there? So this is how the different subjects are being tackled to give the everyday life examples to the students. So this is how the things should be interconnected. It should not be only on the theoretical side. It should not be only on the bookish knowledge, but how the child very fairly can utilize all these things in their daily lives as well. So this is the 4th point, application. As nowadays we are focusing for whatever the subject is, we always say that give them the real life examples rather than only from the books. So this is how we can apply also. Then 5th point comes the expansion, the prasar. So once the child have understood all these things, then the child can expand them also. The child can deliver all these things maybe to their friends or to their siblings or to their junior classes. This is also one part of inculcating the leadership qualities. We can try this in our schools also. Suppose if a concept, if we talk about primary classes only, the students of class 5th, they can teach some concept in the junior classes. If you make a group of students that, okay, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you have to teach subtraction to class 1. How will you teach them? You go and teach them. You will find that the children will bring a lot of creative ideas, because this generation, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they are very, very creative. So they can go there and they can disseminate their knowledge, and through this they can do the expansion. And when the child is delivering his or her this topic in the classroom, the child is learning lot many things. The child is learning the interpersonal skills. The child is also learning the experiential skills. The child is also learning the different sorts of areas through which the child is teaching, and the younger generation, they are learning. So this would create a very good atmosphere in the school, and the confidence level is also be definitely boost to the students. Next comes at the foundational. These are 4 areas, as many of us are aware also, but a very quick revision for this also. The first stages are foundational stage, which is the very basic. Here in NEP 2020, they have included the play classrooms also from the pre-primary till class 2. Second stage is the preparatory stage from grade 3 to 5. Third stage is middle stage from grade 6 to 8. And the fourth stage is secondary stage, that is class 9 to 12. And in the foundational stage, NCF has suggested not to use textbooks. As per their instructions, as per their understanding, they said, here you should involve the students in different techniques, playway techniques. Do not give them books. Let them explore the other ways of learning. And for this purpose, they said the book should be introduced in later stage. For grades 3 to 8, the NCF suggests that introduce the languages here, and the textbooks can also be introduced at this level. Next level comes the middle stage. Here NCF suggests 3 language formula, that is R1, R2 and R3. And here they are also focusing more on regional languages. NCF understands that if the child is taught at his or her regional language, they understand more and they understand it quickly. They need not to struggle in the barrier of language. So that is why here they are promoting the regional languages, the native languages also. And apart than these, they are having mathematics, art education and physical education, sciences and social sciences in middle stages. Then 9 to 12, it is again one area where they are again ready to explore more and more. As we have discussed, that they are trying to bring the multidisciplinary approach, and in 9 to 12, they are also trying to make the students to be up to the level where they have a very good understanding of their subjects rather than only taking it as mere syllabus. So NCF is saying a big no to the rote learning. For classes 9th and 12th, they say that there would be 16 choice-based courses, and out of these are those areas: 8 in class 9, 8 in class 10, and with these total 16 courses, the report card would be made by taking class 9th and 10th result. It would not be the excluded ones, class 9 separate and class 10 separate. Like now we are having class 10th board and we are not including class 9th marks at all. But now they are saying it will be a complete 9 to 12th shift, and 9th and 10th marks would be included for class 10th. So if the child wants good grades, if the child wants good marks, if the child actually wants good grades, then the child has to start work from class 9 onwards. Class 9 plus class 10 is equal to class 10 report card. And these are the 16 areas: 8 in class 9, humanities, mathematics, vocational education, physical education, arts education, social science, science, and multidisciplinary areas. These are total 16. Out of these 16, 2 plus 2, 8 in class 9 and 8 in class 10th. So this is one thing Some more are also being added here in class 9th and 10th. The agenda behind this for the students by NCF is where the child should understand, because vocational education is introduced by NCF, by NEP. Before that, vocational education was not a part of it. Reason behind vocational education is to make the children skillful. We can see that we generally say there is a lot of unemployment. The people, they are taking degrees, but still they are not so skilled for that they are hired for. That is the reason that why now the NCF and NEP is more focusing on vocational education, which will start from class 6th onwards. The child has to take at least and has to spend at least 10 days to learn the vocational education. Whatever the way, maybe it is for girls, maybe they can go for beautician courses, maybe for stitching courses, maybe for plumbing, maybe for any sort of these skilled vocational educational courses should be taught to the students to make them skillful. This is the agenda behind this. And in class 12th, again, in 11th and 12th, they are making it multidisciplinary. They are now trying to not to bound it only to the streams. As now a student who is having science, maybe having physics and biology, cannot take accounts. A student who is having accounts maybe cannot take political science. The child who is having political science or geography cannot take biology. But now they are opening all these arenas and they are making it very, very open for the students as per their choices. If suppose if a child who is having a fair knowledge in biology and very keen interest in biology, and at the same time if the child is having the keen interest in accountancy or maybe in business studies or maybe in political science, then the child could be given this chance to take these subjects. So this is also a very broader concept taken by NCF and new education policy to give to not to bound the students for this, rather than making them to explore the areas where they are interested in. Now, these are the potential impact on student learning experience and the overall education system. So what these things would be coming up, how the NCF is trying to bring the change. The very first thing is language learning. Till in class 11th and 12th, we have seen the students, they are having mandatory one language, one compulsory language. But now it would be at least 2 languages, and out of 2, one should be any language of Indian origin. So that the children, they should also understand their own culture, their diversity, and by that they could understand the India at a broader concept as well. For class 9th and 10th, again, 2 languages would be compulsory. Students of class 9th and 10th have to study 5 subjects and have the option to include 1 additional subject. Currently, we are having this, but now with this change, they will be having 1 additional language they have to study. The pattern of board examination and assessment. So this also would be, till now we are having 1 time board, and you must have also witnessed that sometimes students, they say that maybe the child was not feeling well, maybe due to some reasons, maybe some issues at home, maybe due to some reason the child could not appear so well in the examination, and because of that his entire year gets spoiled. So now, keeping this in the mind, NCF is suggesting 2 boards, 2 times the board would be, so that, and out of these 2, one, the best score out of 2 would be considered as the result of the child. This is though implementing.
Ma'am,
Yes,
as you told that 9th and 10th marks will be combined, no ma'am. So in that 10th 2 board exams, if they are writing from that best and plus that 9th mark will be added? Or how it
No,
is?
it will, ma'am, for 12th, we are talking about now for class 12th. For 9th and 10th, there would be a combined thing. There would be 16 scoreboard. Out of them, 8 plus 8 in 9th and 10th. And that will also, twice the things would be given. In the same way, 9th also. In 9th, they would be giving 2 examinations. Out of them, the best one would be taken. In the same way, in 10th also, the best would be taken. And yes. And here also in 12th also. Yeah.
Okay.
So then the alignment with NEP. The NCF, as we have understood, the NCF is the implementation of NEP. So NEP, whatever NEP suggests that our children should be rooted well, it should be competitive enough on the broader side also, up to the global level. So keeping all these things, the NEP want that our children, they should have the 21st century skills as well. And out of these, whatever we found best in our culture, they have taken that. And whatever we found that these skills are mandatory to survive in 21st century, those are also included in that. So here the 4th point comes, the changes in compulsory and optional subjects. Now, the number of compulsory subjects for class 9 and 10 would be 7. And for class 11th and 12th, it would be 6. And this change will expose students to a wider range of subjects and make them more accomplished individuals. Number point is flexibility and choice for students. The secondary level has been redesigned, as we have discussed earlier also. Now the children would not be stream bounded. Sometimes you have seen the children are coming, ma'am, I like physics, but I do not like chemistry. I like chemistry, but maybe I am not so good in physics. But the child was not having any choice. But this is now taken care by NCF, and they have opened up their arms and they are giving the choices to the students that as per your choice and interest, you can take the subjects. So there should not be any dividing line. Apart than that, they would be having the vocational subjects also, which is also mandatory, by which they can be skilled. Environmental education, as we all are aware of the different goals which are given by United Nations also, and out of these, one is environmental education. As we all are often worried about our climate changes and about the pollution, and how to bring that awareness amongst the students, how the students have to be get aware about the environment and how they can keep their environment safe and sound, pollution free. So for that particular reason, the environmental education is compulsory now for classes 3 onwards till grade 12 to bring more awareness amongst the students. Next is the distribution of syllabus for social sciences. Again, one important change. Social science is very broader concept. Generally, the students and most of the time the teachers, they are also having these complaints that we are teaching certain chapters or the points which are not at all relevant. In the books, textbooks, if you will see, especially grades 6 to 8 or 6 to 10, you will find that there is nothing where the child can connect to the local level. There is nothing where the child can connect to the regional level. But at the same time, this is the responsibility of the social science subject to connect the child with the local level, because the society, the smallest part is of that society is the family, the surroundings, which is missed in our social science courses. So now they will be redistributing the syllabus, and in that 20% from the local level, the syllabus would be included, 30% from the regional level, so that the child would understand the regional level also, from on which the child can have proud feeling that yes, this is my region. Now also, if we talk about our own students, or maybe amongst us also, most of us are not aware of the different parts of our country, their language, their culture. Why so? Because the place where we are, maybe we are aware of that, but we are not aware of. India is full of diversity. India is full of diverse culture. So to make them all these things understand, now they will be changing the social science syllabus, in which 20% local language, 30% regional level, 30% national level, and 20% global level, so that the child would be having a good understanding right from their surroundings, right from their family and their local level, then to the global. So this is how the change would be coming in social science courses. Now, another important point is the pressure of studies. We oftenly heard these things as an educators, that my child is under pressure. Parents usually come with these complaints that you have given this homework, that homework, the syllabus was very lengthy, and my child was under pressure. So basically, to remove that pressure of studies, now they are reducing the hours also. As you might be aware of also, in most of the Nordic countries, they are having 5 days a week. Some countries like Japan and Norway, even they are planning for 4 days a week. 3 days should be given to the child to live happily without any pressure of waking up early and then getting ready and then going to school. So they are trying to give it a balance, that okay, 4 days this routine, and 3 days completely out of the box, where the child should understand his or her own creative levels, and the child could feel very free also. The NCF has also tried this, and they are also giving it 29 hours school week, where Monday to Friday 5 to 5.5 hours, and on Saturday, second Saturday is also mandatorily holiday. Fourth Saturday also usually the schools give them holiday, and on the other 2 Saturdays it would be for few hours. So by this, they want that the child should not be having the burden of going school. The child should not feel it as a burden, that okay, I'm going school, it is a burden for me. Rather than the child should go with a happy face, with a happy mood, that yes, I'm going to my school. The child should love the school. Again, very important point is mathematics fear. most of our students, right from the beginning, they are having this fear. They fear from mathematics, and the mathematics teachers, they also try their level best that what kind of good ways I can adopt to remove this fear. So for this, now the NCF suggests that the mathematics should be interconnected with other subjects, and it should not be taught as a nuclear subject rather than brought in the multidisciplinary approach, and where while teaching English, while teaching social science, while teaching science, while teaching computer, the teacher should connect the mathematics to it, so that the students would not be having mathematics fear. Because now also from past many years, the reason for to remove the mathematics fear, in class 9th and 10th, you have seen the mathematics is also divided in two areas. One is standard mathematics and the basic mathematics. That was also for this purpose, to remove the fear of mathematics, because the younger generations, they should not feel mathematics as a fear, rather they should love it as a subject, that yes, this is something which would be utilized by me as human being till my last breath, while counting, while paying money, or while receiving money. So you cannot exclude mathematics from the life. Then comes the bagless days. Again, to reduce the pressure of syllabus, to reduce the pressure of bag, to reduce the pressure of making the students to be on the books, the bagless days. And I'm pretty sure that most of you are observing also these bagless days in your school. So this is also one of the biggest outcome of NCF, where they say that the classes, even the junior classes, they should be provided some days in an year where they come without the tension of books. They should come happily. They will do certain activities. By those activities, they would learn, and after then they can go home happily by learning. And that learning would not be through the teaching, that learning would not be through books, but that would be completely on activity based. So this is how they are planning, and what they are suggesting on these days, maybe different activities could be done. Maybe it is related to art and craft, maybe it is related to sports, some kind of sports tournaments could be planned, maybe different kind of quizzes, GK quiz, mathematics quiz, science quiz, and maybe different kind of crafts, or maybe children could taken to some field trips. Maybe children could taken to some monuments, maybe children could taken to some educational tours, maybe children could taken outside, maybe to bank, or to show them the Rajya Sabha or Vidhan Sabha or Sansad. So all these things are given to the teachers and to the school management to give them the broader concept and the broader horizon to the students, where the children can connect their learning with the life skills also. Because the main purpose of this, all these activity based learning, is to connect them and improve the life skills. Because ultimately, when the child will come out of the education, when the child would be done the schooling, when the child would be done with the college or the university, and when they enter into the professional field, most of the time the children, they could not manage those manipulations, because they have not learned the interpersonal skills. They are not so good in debates and discussions. They are not so good in different sort of skills. So this is what NCF suggests, that to prepare the children for life, and professional life is one out of them. even if the child is not planning to go for some job, if the child is planning for some entrepreneurship, for starting some business, or for starting some sort of his or her own startup, for that the entrepreneurship skills have to be sharpened.
Anita
And for
ma'am,
that, the area, the ground is to be given by the school.
Anita
Yeah,
ma'am,
so
sorry
this
to
is
interrupt you.
what I have with you.
Yeah, the last
Yeah, sir,
3
I am
minutes.
done. I am done
Yeah.
with my presentation.
Yeah, last 3 minutes, okay. Yeah, please, ma'am, please.
Yeah, sir, I am done with my presentation. So I'm open for the questions. If any of the educator is having any kind of question, they may join, please. They may ask.
Sure, ma'am, just kindly explain the rebate R1, R2, R3. Just little bit, I am confused there.
Yeah.
Regional language 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
R1, R2, and R3 are the, now we are having one language compulsory.
R
Now
stands
they
for
are
regional
saying that at least 2 languages, 6 to 8.
Ma'am, R
There
stands
should
for
be 2
regional.
languages.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
R stands for regional language.
Yes, yes.
R stands for regional language.
Ma'am, my question is that
So
if
these regional languages are also to be taught.
Anita ma'am, my question is
So
that
it is basically class 6 to 8. 3 languages are to be learned by the student.
okay. Yes, Meena ma'am.
Ma'am, excuse ma'am. You said about the 5 steps learning process. In that application is coming in the 4th place. Yes, ma'am. That is first is introduction, conceptual learning, practice, and then comes application. So how to do that in languages? Just can you give me a small example for that, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. For languages, suppose we have taught any chapter, literature, any chapter if you have taken. So for the implementation, the child has learned that language and the child has understood also. So now how you can implement it? You can ask the child, okay, now you weave a story. And tomorrow we will be learning it. So you can ask all the students that, okay, you frame a story as per your surroundings, and that story you will tell to your mom also, you will tell to your grandmom also, and tomorrow you will tell in the classroom also. So in that way, we are making the children to learn the language. One thing.
And practice also.
Second thing, the vocabulary also they are learning. Third thing, when they are speaking, their oratory skills also are being enhanced. And fourth thing, when they are speaking, their confidence level is also being raised.
The last one is there, feedback form in the chat box. Dear educators, you can fill the feedback form. Question is that just I belong to Punjab state. The R1 is the Punjabi language, R1 is the English language.
Sir, R1 is, here we are talking about regional language. Three languages are to be taught. 3 languages पढ़ानी है सर बच्चों को 6 to 8 में. I saw your message now only कि हम हिंदी भी use करें English and Hindi mix. Yeah.
Actually, participants are continuing
ये 3
message
languages हैं sir. हाँ जी.
Participants are continually messaging to me on WhatsApp. Just the bilingual, no worries. Just wait.
अच्छा. Okay. So my dear educators, यहाँ पे हमें 6 to 8 में, जैसे अभी हमारे पास 2 लैंग्वेजेस चल रही हैं. वन इज इंग्लिश जो हम पढ़ा रहे हैं, और सेकंड हमारी हिंदी होती है या फिर पंजाबी होती है. अभी कि हम अपने जो कल्चरल लैंग्वेज है, हम, क्योंकि हमारे बच्चे क्या है, आगे उन लैंग्वेजेस को नहीं लेते हैं. कुछ एक स्टेट्स हैं मे बी, लेकिन बहुत सारे स्टेट्स नहीं लेते हैं. तो उसके लिए उसके लिए अब जो एनसीएफ है उसने ये प्लान किया कि यहाँ पे हम 3 लैंग्वेजेस 6 to 8 में बच्चों को पढ़ाएंगे, और मे बी फिर इसको कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं 9th ऑनवर्ड्स। तो उसके लिए रीजनल लैंग्वेज 1, 2 and 3, एक लैंग्वेज तो आपकी इंग्लिश रहती ही है, उसके साथ में हिंदी अगर है, हिंदी के साथ में आप एक रीजनल लैंग्वेज, मान लीजिए आप अगर पंजाब से हैं, आप पंजाबी आपकी रीजनल लैंग्वेज है, एक और लैंग्वेज आप ले सकते हो, मान लो आप हिमाचल की अगर लैंग्वेज है वो ले सकते हो, या कोई और लैंग्वेज भी ले सकते हो। डिपेंड करता है कि किस लोकेलिटी में है एरिया, वहां के बच्चे कौन से बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं, तो उस चीज को लिया जा सकता है। बेसिक आइडिया है इसके पीछे, जो बेसिक आइडिया है वो है बच्चों को अपने कल्चर से रूबरू करवाना। क्योंकि जब हम अपनी लैंग्वेज पढ़ते हैं, मान लीजिए अगर मैं पंजाबी पढ़ रही हूँ तो पंजाबी में मैं अपना साहित्य पढ़ रही हूँ, पंजाबी लैंग्वेज, अपना कल्चर आएगा उसमें। अगर पंजाबी में कोई भी कहानी लिखी है या पंजाबी की कोई भी मैं कविता पढ़ रही हूँ तो उसमें कल्चर रिफ्लेक्ट होगा, एंड दिस इज हाउ वी कैन कनेक्ट आवर कल्चर। सो ये सबसे बड़ा एनसीएफ में है कि अगर हमें अपने कल्चर को भी प्रमोट करना है, जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया, इंडिया इज फुल ऑफ डाइवर्सिटीज, एक स्टेट की लैंग्वेज दूसरे स्टेट में शायद समझी भी ना जाए। अगर साउथ से हम हैं तो हम नॉर्थ की लैंग्वेज नहीं समझ पाएंगे, हम नॉर्थ से तो हम साउथ की लैंग्वेज नहीं समझ पाएंगे, और साउथ में भी कहने को साउथ है लेकिन वहां पे भी लैंग्वेजेस ऐसी हैं कि तेलुगु वाले तमिल नहीं समझ पाते हैं और तमिल वाले कन्नड़ा नहीं समझ पाते हैं। तो वहां पे भी डिफरेंस। तो उन सब चीजों को हम कैसे समझ पाए? जो बच्चे हैं, अगर हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को स्कूल में अगर वो लैंग्वेज प्रमोट ही नहीं करें, बच्चे कैसे उनको समझ पाए? तो इसके लिए एनसीएफ ने कि हम अपने कल्चर को भी उतनी ही रिस्पेक्ट दें, हम अपने जो लिटरेचर है, अपनी कंट्री का जो वास्ट लिटरेचर है, हम उसको भी उतना ही सीखें। जैसे मैंने शुरू में डिस्कस किया था कि इन रूटेड, हमें अपनी वैल्यूज में भी से, जड़ों से भी जुड़े रहना है, और उन जड़ों के साथ रहते रहते हमें अपने ग्लोबली भी हमें वो सारी चीजें सीखनी है। हम बच्चे को प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं जिसमें हमारे बच्चे के अंदर वैल्यूज भी हो, जिसके लिए हमारा इंडियन कल्चर जाना जाता है। वैल्यूज सिस्टम जिसमें हम अपने बड़ों के लिए सेवा भाव हो, अपने से छोटों के लिए प्यार हो, हम सबको एक साथ लेके चलें, ये हमारा इंडियन कल्चर है। चाहे हम किसी भी लैंग्वेज से हो, चाहे हम साउथ से हो, चाहे हम नॉर्थ से हो, चाहे हम ईस्ट से हो, सबका ये कल्चर है। और फिर हम अपने बच्चों को चाहते हैं कि वो ग्लोबली भी अपने आप को सेटअप कर पाए। तो उसके लिए हमें इन दोनों चीजों का मिक्स करना है। क्योंकि सर मैं इंडिया के लगभग हर कोने में मैं रह चुकी हूँ और मैं काम कर चुकी हूँ। मैंने एक चीज जो सबसे बेसिक जो अंडरस्टैंड करी है कि चाहे वो किसी भी बैकग्राउंड से हो, पेरेंट किसी भी लैंग्वेज को बोलते हो, उनकी सबसे पहली चीज ये होती है कि मेरा बच्चा मुझे वैल्यू करे, एज अ पेरेंट मुझे रिस्पेक्ट करे, जिसमें बहुत कमी आ रही है आज के टाइम। क्योंकि पेरेंट है, मदर एंड फादर, दे बोथ आर वर्किंग, सुबह जाके शाम को आ रहे हैं, वो पूरा टाइम काम कर रहे हैं इस चीज के लिए कि वो तो सारे रिसोर्सेज अपने बच्चों को दे पाए कि बच्चे को किसी चीज की कमी फील ना हो। लेकिन हो क्या रहा है कि बच्चों के अंदर वो रिस्पेक्ट नहीं आ पा रही है। बच्चों को लगता है कि पेरेंट की ड्यूटी है हमें ये सारी चीजें देना, और इन रिटर्न हम चाहे वो करें ना करें। तो वो वैल्यू सिस्टम लाना भी तो एक एजुकेशन की ही जिम्मेवारी है सर।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही बात।
उस चीज को लाने के लिए एनसीएफ ने पर्टिकुलरली ये चीज कहा है कि हमें अपने बच्चों के अंदर अपने इंडियन कल्चर को भी, की जड़ों को भी सुरक्षित रखना है, और उसके साथ साथ हमें अपने बच्चों को इतना पनपने देना है कि वो ग्लोबल लेवल पे जाके भी अपने आप को अच्छे से सेटअप कर पाए विदाउट एनी हसल एंड विदाउट एनी प्रॉब्लम। तो ये मेन एनसीएफ का एजेंडा है। और जैसे मैंने शुरू में डिस्कस किया था कि एनसीएफ एनईपी हमारे एक ब्रॉडर कॉन्सेप्ट हो गया कि भाई ये सजेशंस, ये चीजें होनी चाहिए, ये एनईपी देता है। वो चीजें होनी कैसे चाहिए ये हमें एनसीएफ बताता है। जैसे हमने सारा डिस्कस किया कि हमें टीचिंग कैसे करनी है, हमारी टीचिंग के कौन कौन से लेवल हो, जैसे हमें पहले सबसे पहले इंट्रोड्यूस करनी है चीजें, उसके बाद में उसका नेक्स्ट लेवल आएगा, फिर उसकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कैसे करनी है, हमें बच्चों की कौन कौन से, देयर आर 5 लेयर्स, वो कौन कौन सी 5 चीजें हैं, 5 लेयर्स हैं बच्चों की जिनको हमने ध्यान में रखना है। सबसे पहले जैसे फिजिकल फिटनेस, अगर बच्चे का शरीर ही फिट नहीं होगा, आप कितना भी अच्छा पढ़ाइए वो नहीं उसको अंडरस्टैंड कर पाएगा। सो दैट इज फर्स्ट थिंग, तो फिजिकल फिटनेस पे भी उतना ही ध्यान देना। उसके बाद सेकंड चीज आती है आपकी कि उसके बाद में बच्चा जो है अपने मेंटल सेटअप करे, मेंटली बच्चा कितना स्ट्रांग हो। थर्ड चीज आती है कि वो अपने आप को इमोशनली कितना बैलेंस रख पा रहे हैं, क्योंकि जब तक हम इमोशनली बैलेंस नहीं होंगे, अगर मुझे गुस्सा आ रहा है तो मैं उस गुस्से को भी कंट्रोल कर पाऊं, अगर मैं बहुत ज्यादा खुश हूं उसको भी मुझे कंट्रोल करना आना चाहिए। इक्वालिटी हम कैसे लाएं, समरसता हम कैसे लाएं, तो ये सारी चीजें हमें एनसीएफ सिखाता है। तो ये जो चीजें हैं एनसीएफ की, इन्होंने शुरुआत करी राइट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग लेवल। इससे पहले क्या था सर कि हमने आंगनवाड़ी को अलग रखा हुआ था, स्कूलिंग सिस्टम शुरू होता था क्लास 1 ऑनवर्ड्स। अब उन्होंने उन एजेस को भी 3 साल से 6 साल के बच्चे को भी इन्होंने ऐड किया। 6 साल का बच्चा आपकी फर्स्ट क्लास में जाता है। एनईपी के अकॉर्डिंग, जो साइंटिस्ट हैं उनके अकॉर्डिंग भी, जो माइंड मैपिंग करते हैं, जो माइंड की अंडरस्टैंडिंग करते हैं, उनके अकॉर्डिंग कि बच्चा 3 से 6 साल की जो एज है उसमें बच्चा सबसे ज्यादा सीखता है, उसका ब्रेन डेवलप सबसे ज्यादा उस टाइम पे होता है। तो उसके लिए उनका मानना यह है कि इस चीज को भी एक मेन स्ट्रीम एजुकेशन में, मेन स्ट्रीम स्कूलिंग में ऐड किया जाए। और उसके लिए उन्होंने जो प्ले सिस्टम है या प्ले ग्रुप्स हैं, प्री प्राइमरी है, उसको भी ऐड किया। और उसमें भी उन्होंने चीजें बताई कि कैसे आप इन चीजों को ऐड करके कैसे, जैसे मैंने अभी डिस्कस किया था कि उन क्लासरूम्स के लिए, प्री प्राइमरी के लिए उन्होंने ये बताया है कि आप बुक्स मत यूज कीजिए। एज अ टीचर अगर मुझे बुक्स यूज नहीं करनी, देन ओनली आई विल ट्राई टू ब्रिंग डिफरेंट सॉर्ट्स ऑफ मेथड्स। तब मैं अलग अलग चीजें इंप्लीमेंट करूंगी कि अरे मुझे इन बच्चों को संभालना है ना, सिखाना है, कैसे सिखाऊं मैं, चलो मैं ये एक्टिविटी लेती हूँ, चलो मैं आज इनको गा के सुनाती हूँ, चलो आज मैं बच्चों के साथ ये एक्टिविटी करती हूँ। मैं, मेरे पास कुछ बॉक्सेस रखे थे, मैंने उनको शेप्स बोल दिया, अच्छा बेटा ये कौन सी शेप है, अच्छा ये रेक्टेंगल है, ठीक है, क्लासरूम में जो जो रेक्टेंगल शेप है आप उनको टच करके आओ, ठीक है, स्कूल में आपको जो जो चीजें दिखती हैं उनको टच करके आओ, घर में जाके आप जो जो रेक्टेंगुलर होंगे, जो जो स्क्वायर होंगे, जो जो आपकी सर्कल्स होंगे उनको देख के आओ, उनकी लिस्ट बना के लाओ। So this is how the child is
through activity based.
Yes. तो इनसे जब बच्चा उन चीजों को टच भी कर रहा है, देख भी रहा है, उनको छू पा रहा है, इससे उनकी लॉन्ग लास्टिंग मेमोरी रहती है और बच्चे का कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर होता है, बजाय कि मैं बोलूं कि बेटा रेक्टेंगुलर की 4 शेप्स होती हैं और उसकी 2 शेप्स, 2 साइड सेम होती हैं, दूसरी 2 साइड सेम होती हैं। इसकी बजाय अगर मैं बच्चे को बोलूं कि बच्चे यू गो एंड सी द टेबल, जो क्लासरूम में टेबल है या आपका बेंच है उसकी देखो किस टाइप का है, तो ये चीजें, दीज आर लाइफ स्किल्स, इनको सीख के, क्योंकि बच्चा जब बाहर आ रहा है क्लासरूम के, जब वो अपनी अगर बुक से बाहर अगर आता है तो बाहर तो हमें कहीं पे भी चीजें नहीं दिखेंगी, हमें तो टेबल दिखेगा या चेयर दिखेगी, ये चीजें दिखेंगे। देयर द चाइल्ड कैन इम्प्लीमेंट ऑल्सो कि अरे हाँ ये है रेक्टेंगुलर शेप, और इस तरीके से बच्चा फिर सीखता है। सो दिस इज व्हाई दे आर फोकसिंग मोर। उसके बाद हमारी नेक्स्ट स्टेज में जब हम प्राइमरी से ऊपर बढ़ते हैं, तब उन्होंने बोला कि ठीक है आप बुक्स को भी इंट्रोड्यूस, प्री प्राइमरी से ऊपर कि आप बुक्स को भी इंट्रोड्यूस कीजिए, लेकिन उन बुक्स में ये वाली चीजें आनी चाहिए, और टीचर जब जाए तो अपना लेसन प्लान बना के जाए। इट मीन्स द टीचर वेल प्लान बिफोर गोइंग। ऐसा ना हो कि मैं क्लासरूम में जा रही हूँ और मैं ही बच्चों से पूछ रही हूँ, अच्छा बेटा बताओ क्या पढ़ना है, अच्छा बेटा बताओ कल क्या पढ़ा था, कल क्या पढ़ा था। वो इस वे से क्वेश्चन हो सकता है कि, बट इस वे से नहीं होना चाहिए कि मुझे तो ध्यान ही नहीं है कि मैं टीचर हूं, अरे मैं तो इतनी बिजी थी मुझे पता ही नहीं इस क्लास में क्या चल रहा है। यू नो देयर इज अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस इन दो चीजों में, तो वो चीज नहीं होनी चाहिए।
Exactly.
सो दिस इज व्हाट की प्लानिंग इज वेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड। उसके लिए कि टीचर कैसे प्लान करे, कौन कौन से अप्रोचेस टीचर कर सकता है, कौन कौन से मेथड्स टीचर अप्लाई कर सकता है, कैसे वो अपने क्लासरूम को एक हैप्पी क्लासरूम बना सकता है। आप में से बहुत सारे एजुकेटर्स ने ये इवन एक्सपीरियंस भी किया होगा कि बच्चे आपसे डिस्कस करते हैं कि मैम उन टीचर से पढ़ना अच्छा लगता है लेकिन उन टीचर से पढ़ना अच्छा नहीं लगता। वाई सो? क्या रीजन हो सकता है उसके लिए?
हो सकता है मैम वो क्लासरूम को प्रॉपर वे से मैनेज ना कर पा रहे हो, क्योंकि अगर मैं आई कांटेक्ट मस्ट बी रिक्वायर्ड कि एक सबसे पहले जैसे फैकल्टी का आपने बताया कि शुड बी प्रिपेयर विद द होल मटेरियल। सेकंड, कनेक्ट, क्योंकि अगर टीचर कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाएगा टॉपिक से तो वो मिसमैनेज हो जाएगा। थर्ड, आपका कंसेप्ट, कंसेप्ट शुड बी क्लियर। जैसे आज आपका हमने प्रेजेंटेशन देखा, वेरी नाइस, टोटली मोर इंफॉर्मेटिव। थैंक यू वंस अगेन मैम, थैंक यू। और
ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे सुनते ही रहे और थोड़ा आगे सुनते ही
यस
रहे, टाइम लगे इसीलिए, नहीं तो और सुनने के बहुत मन हो रहा है मैम। Because it was
थैंक यू सो
so
मच मीना
clear,
मैम एंड थैंक
really,
यू
ma'am.
सो
It was so clear, really. सब भेजे में घुस गया है हमारे दिमाग में, एक एक शब्द घुस गया है आपका।
मच।
even though I take the screenshot you
थैंक यू
shared,
सो मच।
I take the screenshot of your slides and shared in the group for all कि जो ज्वाइन नहीं कर पाए
ओके
उनके
सर।
पास भी इंफॉर्मेशन मिले।
So even in the last session,
हाँ
it
जी
was included, ma'am, that even the teachers should have a habit of reading books. That is going to the library, and even in our school we follow that we have been given weekly 2 classes. That is 2 periods in library reading. So reference book, it is very important for the teachers to gain knowledge there. So
Exactly.
last session was
एग्जैक्टली
that
मैम।
only. It was arranged by Vimal sir also, and it was really nice, interesting. And today really मन नहीं कर रहा है जाने के लिए, आपने वापस बुलाया, मैं तुरंत ही आ गई।
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दीज कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स मैम। और मैं ये उम्मीद करती हूँ कि हमारे जितने भी एजुकेटर्स जुड़े हैं कुछ तो वैल्यू एडिशन हुआ होगा, और उसके लिए आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल सर टू यू टू
और कुछ नए
अलाउड मी
टॉपिक्स
फॉर
लेकर
दिस।
आइएगा मैम, और कुछ नए टॉपिक्स लेकर आइएगा कि जो हमें और किसी की, हम वी आर लैकिंग समवेयर। So really it was a very informative and very nice, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much ma'am. And as NEP and NCF also suggest that sharing is caring, and I believe that in the world nobody is perfect and we can learn from each other a lot. When we discuss, when we share our knowledge, at the same time we are also learning.
Even
When you
at
were
home,
asking,
parents have shared with us. That's what we have moved forward, no, ma'am. Same way we have to follow that in school also. As we learn from
exactly
parents,
ma'am.
they have said something to us, so we have done that, implemented. Same way in the school, what is that needed, that we have to do it.
Exactly ma'am.
Sharing
And
is good.
Meena ma'am, I want to give, yeah, I want to speak a bit about, like, when you have said that you have mandatorily given 2 periods for the teachers to read. It is actually required also, ma'am, because most of the teachers, maybe because of shortage of time at homes, and they have to see the family also, and most of the females are in this profession, so they have to equally look after the families also. But at the same time ma'am, as we are in the time where we have to study, we have to see what is happening around the world. Without updating our knowledge,
Update
we
ourselves.
cannot, yes, we cannot connect the children, because now the days are gone when only the guru was imparting the knowledge. अब तो टाइम ये है कि इवन टीचर से ज्यादा बच्चों को आइडिया होता है उस टॉपिक का. टीचर इज अ फैसिलिटेटर नाउ. सो अगर टीचर उसी क्लास में बच्चों से कनेक्ट कर सकता है जहां पे टीचर कुछ एडिशनल नॉलेज उनको दे पाए, क्योंकि बच्चा वो रीड चैप्टर घर से करके आ रहा है, वो भी यूट्यूब से पढ़ के आ रहा है, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम टीचर भी यूट्यूब से पढ़ के आ रहा है. सो फॉर दैट थिंग, अगर टीचर बैठ के लाइब्रेरी में, इफ द टीचर इज रीडिंग समथिंग मोर एडिशनल, एंड दैट थिंग इफ द टीचर वुड बी शेयरिंग इन द क्लासरूम, बच्चे उसको कनेक्ट कर पाएंगे और बच्चे दे विल स्टार्ट रिस्पेक्टिंग द टीचर देयर. अदरवाइज तो बच्चों को हाँ ये तो हमें भी पता है, एंड दैट इज द रीजन आज के टाइम में द स्टूडेंट्स दे लूज देयर इंटरेस्ट, क्योंकि उन्हें कुछ भी नया नहीं मिलता विच द टीचर इज टीचिंग देयर. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव टू इंक्लूड इन दिस, कि जो भी टीचर, एंड मैम इट इज ऑल्सो नॉट लाइक ओनली फॉर द सीनियर क्लासेस, इवन फॉर द जूनियर क्लासेस ऑल्सो, बिकॉज नाउ मोस्ट ऑफ द पेरेंट्स आर एजुकेटेड. तो जो टीचर ने कल पढ़ाना है, पेरेंट ट्राई करते हैं मैं आज ही उसको पढ़ा दूं ताकि कल मेरा बच्चा जाके बोले और उसको गुड 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 मिले. so there also every teacher, every whatever the classes they are teaching, the teacher have to have a step ahead. टीचर को एक कदम आगे रहना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि आफ्टर ऑल जो रोबोट्स हैं आ रहे हैं, जो बिकॉज दैट इज ऑल्सो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, कई स्कूल्स में इंप्लीमेंट भी हो गया है कि हाँ रोबोट्स आ रहे हैं टीचर की जगह वो पढ़ा रहे हैं, बट जो एम्पैथी, जो सिंपैथी, जो इमोशनल कनेक्ट टीचर कर सकता है, द बॉट कैन नॉट. और इसी चीज को, यही हमारी सबसे बड़ा एक हमारे पास हथियार है जिसको लेके हम बहुत अच्छे से बच्चों के साथ कनेक्ट हो सकते हैं. And another very prominent thing, as I always suggest to my teachers also, always connect to the parents also. Give them a care calls. पेरेंट्स को हमेशा लूप में रखिए. कई बार क्या होता है कि कोई टीचर बहुत अच्छे होते हैं लेकिन वो टीचर से नहीं कनेक्ट हो पाते, सॉरी पेरेंट्स से कनेक्ट नहीं हो पाते. दे फील कि अरे नहीं पेरेंट को क्या कॉल करना है, और वो जो बीच में गैप रह जाता है ना, वो कई बार बहुत प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करता है. सो इट इज ऑलवेज गुड, आई यूज द टर्म केयर कॉल फॉर दिस. सो दैट केयर कॉल शुड बी डन एटलीस्ट, इफ नॉट विद इन अ वीक, विद इन फोर्टनाइटली. फोर्टनाइट में एक बार तो टीचर जरूर कनेक्ट करे, सब्जेक्ट टीचर भी और जो क्लास इंचार्ज है वो भी जरूर कनेक्ट करे, ताकि पेरेंट के अंदर भी एक कॉन्फिडेंस आता है कि मेरा बच्चा सही स्कूल में है, सही हाथों में है, जहां पे मेरे बच्चे का ध्यान रखा जा रहा है. अगर बच्चा किसी वजह से, इफ द चाइल्ड इज एब्सेंट, द कॉल शुड बी गिवन टू अंडरस्टैंड द रीजन. कई बार क्या होता है कि ओके वी सॉ द एप्लीकेशन आ गई है, द चाइल्ड इज नॉट वेल, एंड ओके एज अ क्लास इंचार्ज आई एम ओके विद इट, बट एट द सेम टाइम इफ यू विल गिव अ कॉल, maybe not at that time, maybe after the school, but if you are giving a call and you are asking that how the child is, believe me, पेरेंट आपसे कनेक्ट होगा. पेरेंट को भी लगेगा कि हाँ मेरे बच्चे का ध्यान रखा जाए, क्योंकि मैम आज के टाइम में द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज, पढ़ा तो पेरेंट भी सकते हैं घर में, बट दे वांट सम प्लेस जहां पे उनके बच्चा सेफ एंड सिक्योर है और उनके बच्चे को मोरली एंड फिजिकली, और जहां पे बच्चे का बहुत अच्छे से ध्यान रखा जाता है. सो दीज आर द, yes, so this is what I think happy classrooms can also be.
And where there you told no ma'am that bagless day or a vocational education, in that even the teachers also can relax and even they can also join with that and they can also be stress free with that. बुक्स
Exactly.
में नहीं रहकर टीचर्स को भी थोड़ा स्ट्रेस फ्री हो जाएगा और रिलैक्स भी हो सकते हैं, एंड दे आल्सो इन्वॉल्व इन दैट एंड दे डू देयर वर्क विद द चिल्ड्रन, सो देयर आल्सो अ न्यू
Exactly,
बॉन्ड इज बी क्रिएटेड.
and many teachers, they are also multi talented. Some teachers, suppose if some teacher जिनको कोई भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट प्ले करना आता है, they can teach that to the student. Suppose an English teacher in the classroom, she only has to teach English, but during bagless days she can explore this capability also. तो इस तरीके से टीचर भी अपना एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं. So this is how it is stressless for the teachers also, where the teachers can also do it as well as the students. So stress free माहौल teachers के लिए भी बनेगा, students के लिए भी बनेगा, and obviously they can come with a new fresh beginning. और जैसे हम बात कर रहे थे कि प्रेशर, आजकल छोटा बच्चा भी होगा क्लास 1 का भी, वो भी बोलेगा मुझे बहुत प्रेशर है पढ़ने का, so that could also be reduced.
और बच्चों के सामने टीचर्स को भी बच्चों जैसे ही रहना है मैम। अगर हमें बोलेंगे हाँ ये तो मुझे मालूम है, तो नहीं, हमें उनसे कुछ बुलवाना है और उनसे ही भी कुछ सीखना है। बच्चे आजकल इतने अपडेटेड है कि नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई कि बहुत आगे हमसे ही, और हमें भी उनसे आगे और अपडेट रहना पड़ रहा है।
एग्जैक्टली मैम, एंड मैम इन दैट वे ऑल्सो बच्चों से, जब हम बच्चों से बोलते हैं ना कि अरे बेटा ये मुझे भी बताओ, समझाओ, तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, आप क्लास में आओ एक बार सबको बताओ,
They
दे
feel very
एंजॉय दिस
happy.
मैम.
Yeah,
yes,
yes.
and they feel so happy कि अरे वाह आज तो मैम ने मुझे बुलाया. their confidence level rises मैम, and they can connect it, और वो इतना अच्छे से समझाते हैं, और टीचर के लिए तो मतलब ये
Yes ma'am, one small thing alone I want to add here that मैं अपने क्लास में जब भी जाती हूँ, यहाँ एक्चुअली तमिल लैंग्वेज ही यूज की जाती है, तो हिंदी बच्चों को इतनी ज्यादा नहीं आती है, तो मैं एक दो वर्ड्स नए यूज करती हूँ, जैसे कि खड़े हो जाइए, उठ जाइए, बैठ जाइए, हाथ ऊपर हाथ नीचे, देन द चिल्ड्रन आर कमिंग फॉरवर्ड वन by one. Today he is coming, tomorrow he is saying ma'am I will tell, ma'am I will tell. तो वैसे नए नए शब्द बच्चों को सीखने को मिल रहा है, and they come forward.
yes, exactly
So
ma'am.
that is also really, and that makes me very happy. Oh, see, the children are coming forward and they are something learning there. नहीं तो हिंदी को भी एक मैथ सब्जेक्ट जैसे हो गया था.
एंड रिक्रिएशनल भी हो जाता है थोड़ा सा क्लास में, अदरवाइज क्लास बहुत बोरिंग हो जाती है कई बार, तो बीच बीच में थोड़ा सा उनको फोकस वापस लाने के लिए दीज थिंग्स आर वेरी गुड मैम. या
Once again, ma'am, thank you so nice, ma'am. Thank you, Simpy ma'am. Thank you all the educators. और जल्दी ही एक नई टॉपिक के साथ, एक नई उम्मीद के साथ, एक नई किरण के साथ जल्दी ही मिलते हैं. ओके मैम, जय हिंद जी.
ओके, थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन. जय
Thank you,
हिंद.
sir. Thank you, ma'am.